Good morning there. How are you going? We're in the bush. It's pretty early. Around about 4:30 in the morning. Gonna wait for the sun to come up soon. I'm just getting in a good posse. I'm gonna get a cup of coffee into me. I'm gonna settle in to wait. This morning I'm hoping to find a pretty rare creature. And if I do, I'll show it to you. And we'll go for a bit of a walk. We'll see what else we can find. But anyway, come along for the journey. I'm grateful to have you with me.
Bug. Hello.
So I've been here a couple of hours now. Jayne's been here for maybe an hour. We've had our breakfast. No sign of our little friend. We saw him last night, didn't we, Jayne?
Yep. He moves so quickly, he does.
So either he was out and about before it was light enough for me to see, or else he's having a sleep in this morning and dodging the paparazzi because I've got the camera gear out. Anyway.
Yeah, we didn't have the cameras yesterday.
We just came for a quick walk yesterday to scope it out and see what it was like. Anyway, that's fine. We know that he's here. We'll find him another day. We're going to go for a bit of a walk later and I'll show you a few other things anyway. So the trip won't be a bust.
Size of that rock, Dusty. Have a lot of moss over here. That balancing rock had moss.
So we're at an old trig point here. You can see a few other spaces out across the hills there where we might have been able to see some things. The trig point is actually dismantled now, I think. Up here, which would have been the metal disc that sat on top of it, made it visible and possible to see. You can still see a little bit of the black paint on the front of it. Up in there is a bit of an old post, which might have been a part of it. Over here is another post with a wedge out of it. It could be a piece of it. And if we were to think about that from over here, you've got a few high points out across the valleys that you'd be able to see. So every trig point would have been seated where you could see two other trig points with a telescope. That's how they surveyed things. That's how they surveyed things back in the day. Back before satellites. But now it's just an interesting little walk to be able to come up and check these things out. So we are at the Basket Swamp Falls. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Basket Swamp Falls.
This is the high falls.
Now, it's an impressive sight. Brace yourself for this.
There it is.
Whee! Alright, it's pretty dry at the moment. But you can imagine what it would be like cascading down over these rocks when she's in full flow. And the positive of it being a bit low at the moment is we can go for a walk. Somebody's going to miss that. Some of these little, they're called sundews, little insect catchers. You might see on that one, tiny little bits of moisture. They attract insects, catch them, and they consume them for sustenance. Tiny little critters that just live here. They can live with almost no soil on these barren granite outcrops and areas. Amazing stuff, isn't it? We can see how low the water is now compared to usual with these water plants. A good 40 centimetres out of the water. There's a little skink of some sort. What do you reckon, Jane?
I always loved rock scrambling, so pretty cool. You certainly wouldn't better do this when it's flooding.
No. Oh, worth the drive down an awkward little track?
Oh yeah, it's fun to walk, but I don't know about the track. You certainly wouldn't do it in wet weather. Not unless you had a proper four-wheel drive. We're going to go through this. Yeah. Hopefully we don't touch the out. So, this one isn't for Sid to cross. And Sid's the car, if you didn't know. He's not up to that one. So we're going to do the detour one around the trees, which is just as well.
Now I promised I was going to jump you straight to the next interesting thing, and we haven't quite got to that thing yet because I had to stop and show you this. Come with me. Have a look at this beautiful balancing rock. She's a cracker. Haven't got my gaiters on. Don't get bit by a snake here. Anyway, look at that. Beautiful old lump of granite just sitting up there, perfectly balanced. Fascinating to watch all of these little slivers that crack off the side. That's how these rocks get their round shape. It probably starts out as a bit of a mound sticking out of the ground, just like this one over here. Probably has some sort of a pyramid shape. And over the years it weathers, and pieces start to break off. Things grow down into wherever there are weaknesses, and these slices all come off around the edge. You end up with these narrow bottoms, and eventually it becomes rounded, and you get these beautiful balancing rocks. And who knows, in another 5, 10, 100 million years, it might be a single little point of like 30 centimeters with this massive 10-ton rock sitting on top. Gorgeous. I love this stuff. I know. Now on to the next thing I promised I'd show you. We really will go there now. Now here we are in a little place called Thunderbolt's Gully. I promised to show you something you probably haven't seen before. And here we are. If you look behind me, you'll see some rows of old wooden stumps sticking up out of the ground. What is this? Is it an old fence, some old yards? What could it be? Ah, well, this was part of Australia's defence system in World War II. Now they've made a bit of a reenactment here with some newer timbers to show you what they would have looked like originally. Can you see the sharp points on the top and how tall these timbers were? These were actually light tank traps. There were 3 rows of them all the way through this gully. And these ones down here that are broken off, these were the original ones. You can see the original pointing at the top of them to some extent, even though they've weathered and eroded so badly. So you can see how they are positioned right across the gully, and over there, just behind the car, is a concrete wall that was built to stop tanks from being able to drive up that side. Why were we worried about tanks? Because of the Japanese invasion, of course, in World War II. This road was actually the main dry weather road between Sydney and Brisbane back in those days, back in the 40s. And so this was one of the areas that they had earmarked as a place for defence, and the local area had about 10,000 troops stationed in it and was one of the major training camps of the day. Just a little thing on the side of the road you wouldn't expect. Now why is this called Thunderbolt's Gully? Well, this Thunderbolt bloke, he gets around a bit. Everywhere in the New England. Everywhere you go in the New England you will find Thunderbolt's Lookout, Thunderbolt's Cave, Thunderbolt's Hideout, Thunderbolt. He was our famous bushranger. He was on the run here for about 7 years. He was very famous, and eventually he was caught, he was shot, and then he was no more.
Yep, that was the end of it.
Anyway, so this little gully here takes us up to a bit of a lookout where we can have a quick lookout. And I think I'll go for a quick stroll up there and have a quick look. So, we couldn't get to the top of Thunderbolt. The path was closed today. Try again another time. Anyway, what I really wanted to say was thank you very much for watching. That's the end of our trip. We've had a blast. Hope you have had too. What do you think, Jane?
Yeah, no, for our overnight trip it was really good. And we saw the... Oh, I can't say yet, can I?
Ken, this is the end of it.
Oh, the end.
Let's start that again. What do you think, Jane?
No, it was great. We achieved what we wanted to achieve, which was we actually saw a platypus this morning. Yay!
Awesome. First one we've seen in New South Wales. Lots of fun. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.